Hi, I'm that girl goddess, and today I'm talking about after you have had an argument with your spouse. I mean, some people can utilize this for their relationships, but being Christian, God done but ordained dating. Well, you can date, but no fornication. And the problem with a lot of people, it has become common to mess around. It has become common to say, well, everybody comes short. I ain't no saint. You say people say all kind of stuff, then lining themselves up to the God. And then they get mad when they're not blessed. God bless blessings fall on the righteous as well as the unrighteous, the just and the unjust, but the truth of the matter is a different measure of blessings. You're not going to get that mega blessing until you line up to what he said. You've been tested and proven that you qualify for whatever you ask for. And the problem with that is people has made it common to fornicate. But then they don't want to pay the price of those carrying them demons. And there is a price to pay. Them demons gonna pull on your life. And you're gonna be like, oh God. But God is not rescuing people who voluntarily chooses to operate in sin unto death. He's not. And people who think, oh, I'm never going to the house of God. Well, when you said that and God said failure not to assemble yourself, you lost God in a lot of ways. Obedience is better than sacrifice. And people say, well, that I've been hurt at church. You've been hurt at church. How? Because only you can tell your business. You go there, you hear the word, you go home. Point blank. I don't see how that hurt. But see, a lot of people go to church to find somebody, get to messing around, find out they messing around, and they want to say it's the church. No, it ain't the church. It's you both into sin, and sin hurts in the end. It's pleasurable. There's pleasure in sin, and that's scripture. But in the end, it leads to death and destruction. There's a price to pay for it. And people ain't gonna like that. And they just think, oh, God whooping me. Sometimes them devils be whooping you. You don't be God. God can stand back and look because he already knows that when you open up a door to demonic things, horrible things was going to happen. But that was a choice. And all the people try to find reasons for them, like, Lord, have mercy. God never promised you mercy for you willfully getting into sin. His grace and mercy follow on those who walk upright and purposely choose not to be in that kind of sin. And then people hate you because you made a better choice. People always look for the easiest route out. The easiest route out ain't always the best route out. You got to weigh your options. Everything you do is by choice. And I'm saying that because people they have not really studied the word. They have no spiritual intelligence or wisdom. It's the choices they make. I look at these people, every time you be intimate with someone, there's a price to pay. That person can have hooks in you for 7 years and get to whipping you. You under attack. You pick up some of their wages, their curses, and their demons. And I tell people it's really just a hot mess. It's stupid. I never seen the point of that. But some people, they swear up and down. But all the time, you can't find a good man. You can't find a good woman. There's plenty of them out there. They're just not you choosing to lay down like a dog and get up and flee. They're choosing, I'd rather be celibate. Because see, dating does not demand or say you have to be intimately. You don't have to be intimate. When you're dating, you're getting to know a person. And the reason back in biblical days, marriage was you meet someone, you date 30 days, and after 30 days, you decide whether you're not getting married. Okay? That was the original plan. You're supposed to got to know each other, and people talking about years. Oh, this my fiance. Really? Okay, when y'all get married? Well, we've been engaged for 3 years. 3 years? I've been looking at people, what kind of mess is that? So you think it's legal before God to mess around for 3, 4, 10 years because he say he want to get married? Let me explain this. Usually a person knows if they want to marry you for sure within 6 months. If a person want to do right by you, they make you a priority and they handle their business. All them games that's going on is just that. Games. They probably with you till they find who they want. You choose to have children in a hot mess. Okay? And then the children suffer. And you suffer. Because you know the person that you're with is not invested. You know, it's a lot of people in relationship because they devils, witchcraft. Most of them is desperate because when you get to the resort to witchcraft, that's just a call of desperation or evilness. Okay? It's not okay. And those situations don't last. Not really. Not a quality relationship. Because you got to keep doing it and making sacrifices. And this person still 9 times out of 10 going to still go out there and seek others because they're not happy on the inside. And you can tell. You can tell when they go out. I can tell couples, they be out together, they be just arguing. You get over here. You know you ain't supposed to be over there. Why you looking at her? And him, I see you doing this, and this. So you just don't know how to act. And all while they around you, you gonna fix my plate. I ain't gonna fix your plate because you remember what you did last weekend. And then, I'm gonna go ahead and fix your plate this time. That's not love. Everything about that lets you know this is not a relationship where both people choose each other, love each other. They just there. Love don't have you complain. If you happy, why are you complaining? Why are you arguing? Why is there so much? And people try to say, these young girls, which we all know is retarded, and it's a lie. I be yelling at you, I be arguing with you because I care. What? Only thing arguing do is produce strife. I tell people, who in the world told them that, and who the heck told them that they had such an intelligent authority, they got to try to raise you like you a child and tell you everything and ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Who told you that? When you see a woman with 6 kids and no husband and never been married and she out there on her own, that right there recognize that woman that participated in a lot of foolishness. Because a quality woman, a man ain't gonna truly let go. They be like, well, he wanted a baby. Okay, he wanted a baby. Are you married? There go your answer. Because once you say no, I'll be like, so why did you go make a baby? So if he say jump off a bridge, you gonna jump off a bridge? I'm just gonna keep it 100. These little weak reasons, most of y'all had babies because you wanted to get on Section 8 and you wanted a check. Okay? And you done had generations of that. I tell men, if you meet a woman and she on Section 8 and her mama was on Section 8 and her sister's on Section 8 and her cousins on Section 8 and you see generation on Section 8 or some subsidized this, and this, run. Because all they want to do, those are people on the beat. You don't keep having babies and you in a bad situation. You had one baby, you got into the system, you don't subsidize, you wait for the child to do a full day of school. Makes sense to me. You go get you a job, they'll go into your income and balance it out. It's on subsidized. You can still balance your bills. Okay, what's the problem? Then they still gonna help you with child care. What's the problem, people? I don't get it. My husband had got sick. Okay, I raised the children. He wasn't able to work. It was something terrible, cancer. I explain something to you. I didn't run to the system. I worked. I paid the child care. Applied for some child care. It wasn't consistent. I suffered it. Okay, and kept pressing in, pressing in. That means go get a job when you're doing child care so your child can come with you. You got to save up a lot of money because you know these years are coming. You ain't got to put it in the bank. Just save up some money, set it aside. You know you got business to handle. Okay? You can't continue to have such a whole bunch of babies to the point everybody be overwhelmed. You're going to have to work nights where a relative can watch your child and you pay them something and your child only go there to go to sleep. Basically, you get up after work, you come pick up your child, you take them to school, or you make arrangements for them to go to school. You know, you gotta make some sacrifices after you make a child. And I tell everybody, don't sit up and just have no child to be no child here, because ain't nobody gonna keep taking care of able-bodied people who's making their situation worse. Then you argue with the daddy. I'm gonna tell you right now, when you have children, you're gonna have to make some things work with people. You're gonna have to humble yourself because you're the one who needs the help. Okay? It's just too much. It's too much. They got to establish laws again where they had latchkey kids that was able to stay home. But these kids are so unraised, everybody may be scared. But they just wild. Because there's no discipline. And the government say, oh, don't discipline children. Okay. So now you got a generation of undisciplined adults. And everybody, hire them because they're young. Then they get them and they terminate them in less than 60 days. Because they have no work ethic. They feel they can't say nothing to you. They would never talk consequences. They don't care. Okay? And you got a whole society of people who's not doing things in an intelligent manner. Because they weren't raised, they were just fed. They place getting high over being sober and can pass a drug test to get a job. Okay? They'd rather be sitting around high than they'll call off from work. And they're like, this is my life. And you can't say nothing to these people. Society already seen that the lack of discipline has not accomplished nothing. Generations before them, that was disciplined, we came out with people in society that was functional. You took away the discipline and we looking at least 2 generations that's non-functional. And they catching hell. And the kids catching hell. And all they did was find a reason, I can't handle this, so they get drunk and they get high. What is that going to accomplish? And they still say the teachers going to college to become a teacher just to meet your children and say, oh no, I'm not, and quitting. But these same parents talking about, oh, they ain't gonna paddle my child, but you can't read or write. You can't teach it, because you can always choose to homeschool your child. What's the problem? Homeschool. Don't I want to be bothered with your bad children? I done did it. I done did child care and trying to teach people kids that's cussing you out, and the parents make videos of it and post it on TikTok, and they child 3-4 years old with their hand on their hip popping their neck at you. Little boys, shut up, blah, 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 throwing up gang signs. And the parents say nothing. Oh yeah, you know he crazy. And you be like, I really need you to get your child to sit down and be quiet because he disturbs the other children. He's always hitting somebody else's child. And he's talking back. You a teacher and you sitting there dealing with a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old, 11, 12-year-old, 13, 14 that's going toe to toe with you. The whole class, over half the class going toe to toe with you. Nobody learned anything. And we had children graduate that was illiterate. Can't count. And the parents still sitting around talking crazy. And my child know not to take no mess. What you mean? Your child need to sit down and learn something. I mean, I look at people, it takes a lot of energy, days to teach your child. You have children growing up, they don't even know how to wash up. They're 8 years old, they don't even know how to wash themselves up. They don't know how to dry themselves off. They don't know when to put their clothes in the dirty clothes basket. I mean, the structure of these households is just trifling because everybody too busy going to the club and getting high. When you make that a priority, you know when you got drunk that you're going to sleep in. And one addiction leads to another most of the time. Or it's going to destroy your body because alcohol is, you can keep on drinking alcohol, but your liver and kidneys going to go to the poops. Okay? You're only destroying your body. You have to have intelligence to say no. I look at a lot of these men, you supposed to be protectors, but you always drunk. How you going to protect somebody? Somebody run up on you when you're drunk, you won't even have your balance. Okay? When people rob people or jump people, they usually study the person and they want what's most vulnerable. I'm just saying. A lot of people didn't have people drop things in their drinks and their mind is gone. It's because they was drunk. High. Eyes distracted. They started closing their eyes and this and this. And things happen and they wonder why. Why me? Because you didn't do what God told you to do. He told you stay sober-minded. You have to be watchful. You can't trust people in these streets. These people are devils on assignment, witches on assignment. You got people out here know they got incurables just to pass it along. And they're just looking for you. Because most of the time when you do drugs or alcohol, you a lust spirit come on you. Open up for perversion. And that's Bible. And you get involved with people like, they didn't even tell me. You trust somebody in the street you don't know? That's stupid. I remember a song that Chris Brown made, These 304s Ain't Loyal. And the only thing I questioned is I said about myself, I like the song, don't get me wrong. I said, who in the world said a 304 is loyal? You know a 304 is trying to make money for being intimately involved with someone. They go from person to person to person. They're not loyal. They just want some money. Some fun and some money. That's it. So the song didn't make sense to me, but that showed me the mindset of people. People come up with ridiculous stuff and try to secure it. That's why I'm saying, you see a woman, they got so many generations living in the projects and they living in the projects. Baby, let me explain something to you. It's all bad down here. They have not set their sight, their goals higher. They're not wanting to be committed. They want to be able to live in the projects and you got to leave at a certain time and sneak over here and spend the night here and don't have no bills but want to live in a better area. Sometimes you pay for what you get. You wonder why all them shootouts going out there around the projects and in the projects and public housing, because you have low minds a lot of times. Now, I'm not talking about people who got old and they went to a senior citizen building and they used to work their lives, but they never bought a home. They didn't want the responsibility. They just wanted, a senior. There's a difference. And you can tell by the quality of the buildings you go to what's going on. Otherwise, you get what you pay for. These old men gonna sit up and tell other men, and I'm gonna use Kevin Samuel. I agree with some things he said, but a lot of things I didn't, because he was the same person who sit there and basically say, once you over 25 or 30, if you gain 20 pounds, don't nobody want you. And I look at people, especially relationships, people of color. Most of y'all are over 20 pounds when you teenagers. That don't make sense. You're talking about you don't want men. We don't care about a degree. We just want you to serve us. But then the men talking about they don't want all the bills on themselves. So that woman got to have a job. You got to have some education in order to succeed and go through levels of life. So you got to pay bills. So she need a job. Okay? You want a quality woman, but she's not educated. I ain't saying education means you're intelligent, but it shows that you show some consistency somewhere to arrive at something blessed. Okay? You met a goal. Some of the problems in life is some people they're not consistent in nothing. Consistency is what's going to take you to get the reward of doing something positive. It's not easy. I tell people if a person can stand to go through school, tell you something about school, because school you get all kind of stuff, wages, curses, attacks coming at you to make you quit, and it can be so overwhelming. And if you can stay focused and press in and live low, because most times you don't have the money like that, and you keep going till you get that paperwork, you have done more than accomplished something. It shows a lot about you. I tell people, that's character. Okay? That's power. That's standing power. Through it all, you stood. The same thing God tells us as Christians. But the reason most Christians fail, people who came to God, they're not Christians until they lay down the wrong for the right. The biggest problem is they weren't consistent. They didn't establish faith. They was fair weather people. Soon as something go wrong, even if you ain't saved or a Christian, you deal with tragedy every day too. Most people don't serve God because they're cowards. They fear God. No, they don't just fear God, they fear the devil. But God got way more power than the devil. But I tell people, you need some intelligence out here to operate. The reason most people fail is because they're looking for something easy. You got to find someone with a standard. A woman 30 years old, 40 years old is not time to throw it away. Because I tell these men, first of all, when Kevin Samuel said all of that, he didn't say something about you're getting old, you're overweight, you don't have this and that. Because vast majority of people is not making a 6-digit figure. Like you said, that's a small percentage of people. That's foolishness. You need to link up with someone that you're equally yoked with, someone who want to take you to another level, or you can build together and support each other to go to another level. You got to have a standard. You got to have goals. If you don't have those things, you don't have nothing. Okay? You have to have a desire to want to be a great father and stand when them kids acting a fool, because they are. I don't care how much you love your baby gonna act a fool. That's part of the process. They're gonna get grown and they're gonna get gone. So all these people talking about my little baby. Your baby's gonna go through stages. They started a baby, became a toddler, become a child, become a pre-adolescence to be adolescent to teenagers to going into adulthood. And each cycle of that child life requires something different of you. And you're going to have to be consistent, and you're going to have to be strong, and you're going to have to stand, and you're going to set a standard in that child. And discipline is a must. I hear people tell me, I ain't never spanked my baby. I look at them, I can tell. Their babies be so bad, be so disrespectful. You be like, come here, I need you to sit down. Could you stop hitting other children? Child telling you off. The parents like, they are so smart. You be looking at them like, child, I'd rather see, I tell them, your child's a diamondback snake. They be like, what you mean? You rather see them going than coming. Keep your kids over there. They ain't gonna turn out to be nothing. Nobody wanna be bothered with that. Your child running all over my house. Your child don't know to come in and sit down. Child be, and this would really get me, 2 years old, still in diapers. What your child in diapers for? I'm gonna be honest with you. I have not ever seen a child, unless they had some kind of severe mental disorder or disability, that could not have been potty trained by the time they 15 months tops. I usually have a child potty trained between they 9 and 10 months. I don't care who it is. I didn't see other people, and this woman, her child was 2 years old, he was crying, and she was asleep in late, and the little boy be outside. Do you know I potty trained her child and within 2 weeks? Taught them to sit down, start teaching them how to talk. And she said, what been happening? I said, you have your back door open and the kids and brothers and sisters be running outside and he be sitting down on the back crying. And I just spend a little time with him. Potty trained the child. She looked, huh? She had his little pull up on him. To the point I turned around, she came over and I said, what are you doing? He said, pot, pot. And sat down on that pot. I said, that's not acceptable. And she said, my baby potty trained. I said, yeah. He know when he come here, he want to play like the other kids. He can't play running around in no diaper, pink, all pissy. And she looked at me and she said, no, not my baby. She tried to put him in diapers, and 2 weeks later, he was loving it at first. Then he started seeing all the restrictions. Didn't nobody want to come deal with him. Didn't want him to come over. They didn't want to potty train him. They didn't want to do this. He was standing in the backyard with that little pull up on. Do you know he tore that thing off and turned around and said, I want my pants. I can go to the pot. I'm a big boy. And he told his mama he didn't want to put on no more pull-ups. And then you have commercials that turn around and say it's okay. Your child is in kindergarten, first grade, going to school wearing pull-ups. That's a disgrace. Somebody needs to say it. You ain't taught your child no discipline. They don't even have body control. And they think it's acceptable to walk around 5, 6 years old, pooping on themselves, peeing on themselves. That's not okay. That is not okay. And it starts when people are children. You never setting a standard for them. They have no bedtime. They think anything they say is cute. I tell a person, when they bring their kids, I say, okay, the children got to go in the other room and play. Because I don't have children sitting up on the grown folks' conversation. Let's start that right there. They saying too much and not really knowing what they're talking about. They're hearing too much. It's just like a lot of adults. You think them people are intelligent? These people are paraphrasing. They heard somebody else say it or heard a line on TV and think they're experts. You got to test people. Reason a lot of relationships don't work because y'all don't have enough conversation. You too busy trying to 5-star somebody. Tell them the truth. I live within a budget. I wanted to date you, but your standards, that's how you date yourself. Tell them. Say, if you want to be in my company, we're going to go have brunch. We're going to eat at this budget till we get to know each other. Then once we make a commitment, then I can treat my significant other to these things and not a fly by night. You have to set a standard for yourself. All these females get on their show with Kevin Samuels. You see some of them was pretty, but they was brainless. You seen some of them was kind of on fat side, talking about I want a millionaire, a 6-digit figure. You look at the background in their house and say, you living, probably projects. You looking at them, you see the couch they sit down trying to say, well, they ain't invested in themselves. And I tell people, there's nothing wrong if you can gain weight, this and that. It's somebody for everybody. Do you know love covers a multitude of sins? Things that other people would not have liked? If you can relate on the same wavelength and then laugh and enjoy each other and really want to be spending time with each other, do you know you're more prone to being successful than two people who just trying to compete and get somebody who make this amount of money and don't enjoy each other's company, and well, we'll be self because he can afford my kids. I said, that's just something you got to do together. And you need to love each other because life is a love journey. If you don't enjoy the person you with, you shouldn't be with them. But I'm not telling women you got 6 kids for all these men, this man that married you, that you should just go ahead and divorce. I'm like, you're going to make a lot of compromises because it's a lot to ask someone to raise your child by another man. And I don't know who told y'all that's a package deal. It's not necessarily a package deal. You can't put them up. You need to be grateful that somebody want to come in and do it because it's a lot of work. I'm just saying, I'm that girl goddess. Like, share, and subscribe. Bye.